Hey students, today I'm going to walk you through how to make a portfolio for your language arts class using Google Sites. So in the end, your product is going to look a little bit like this. You'll have a home page, and on your home page you'll have an About Me section where you can add information about yourself and show a little bit about who you are and your interests, your hobbies, and whatever else you want to put on your About Me page. The next section that you're going to have in your portfolio is your exemplars. And exemplars are those pieces of work that you're proud of, that maybe it wasn't the best in the beginning, but you worked really hard to improve it. Or maybe it's something that you completed and you felt great about it and you want to include it in your portfolio. So you'll have exemplars. So an example may be an essay that you wrote that you worked hard on and made great progress, and you would like other people to read it and see it. Maybe a project, so something that shows your understanding of a topic or a skill that you would like to include. Or perhaps something that you just did that you feel great about and confident in, and you'd like other people to see it to help inspire them or show them how they might do something themselves. And so these artifacts are added to a page in the Google site through the Drive. So if you complete an assignment as a Google Doc or in slides, you can add them to this website, to your portfolio. But you can also add, if you're working in word processing, you can also add files or type directly into your site. The other section that you will have in your portfolio is a section of reflections. So in this part of your portfolio, it's your opportunity to think about the learning process and how you improved. Your teacher might have you keep a reflection log. So thinking about your progress over time, maybe where you're at when you take a pre-assessment at the beginning of the school year and write an essay, and then by the end of the school year, I'm sure you've improved a lot in your writing and writing skills. You might answer questions, so your teacher might tell you specifically what questions he or she wants you to answer, or you might just stream of conscious write a little bit about the process for the assignment or for your exemplar. Sometimes teachers will give you formal reflections that they've already written up, and you might include those as an artifact. Or you might just write a paragraph directly into the site to show that you've been thinking about your progress and the process of completing that assignment. The last section in your portfolio will be your class journal, and your teacher might set this up in different ways. So for my students, one thing I love to do is have them complete it in a Google Doc or slides and answer questions. And that way they're working in their Google Drive, but their responses can also show up in their portfolio. You can also make it so that only you and your teacher can see this. It doesn't have to be, your journal doesn't have to be public to your peers if you don't want it to be. There's also a commonplace space that you'll have. So this is really your section. It doesn't have to be classwork. It doesn't have to be reflective. It's videos you love, quotes that are inspiring you, things that really show who you are as a reader and a writer and a student. So you can really make this your own. And the neat part about Google Sites is you can change the templates and the design, and your teacher will be sure to make sure that you have these sections, but you visually can make it really your own portfolio. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to actually set up a Google site for your portfolio. So the first thing you're going to do is go to Google Sites. So type that in and open it up. And then over here, click New Google Sites. And then down here in the bottom right hand corner, click this red circle plus sign. So this is the start of your language arts portfolio. So first thing, you're going to title your site. So like I did with your name, and so you know what it is. So Suzanne's Language Arts Portfolio. Okay. And I'm just going to grab that and copy and paste it I'm going to title my homepage the same thing. And just like you all know with text boxes and stuff, you can make it look pretty and center it and get it all lined up. All right, so once you've named your site, you're going to add the pages in. So if you remember, in the site that I showed you in the beginning, there are a couple of sections. So you have the home page already, you've added that. So now you're going to add 3 different sections. So in your site that you're building, up here on the right navigation, click Pages and click the Add Page button and add the 3 pages. So the first one is My Exemplars. Remember, this is where you're going to keep artifacts that represent your best work, things that you are really proud of. The next page is My Reflections. And on this section, you're going to really think about the process of the project or the assignment and what went well, what you would change, what you learned from it. Really reflect on those things. Then the third page, you're going to have My Journal. And remember that this kind of depends what your teacher wants. Maybe you're keeping a class journal with warm-up responses. Maybe it's a place where your teacher has you free write, but also be sure to have your commonplace space where you can show things that are inspiring you, videos you want to include, all that kinds of fun stuff. So as you build your site, if at any point you want to see what it looks like, you go up here and click the preview button, which looks like an eye. And this will get rid of the other navigations and give you a sense of what your portfolio is starting to look like. To get rid of that, you just hit the X on this, and that'll close you out. All right, so go back to your home page, and the next thing I'm going to show you is how to add a heading. So if you remember, if we look back at the home page on my portfolio, the first section I'm going to add is an About Me section. And so on this, you just go to Insert, you select Text Box, and it puts it right in. Change it from normal text to heading, and it's About Me. And that's it. You might have noticed that on mine there's a drawing in the background, and so you can play around with this kind of fun stuff. Just over here on the left, click that paint palette, and you might give it emphasis, or you can upload an image to put in the background like I did. So once you have your About Me section, you can copy what I wrote on mine. So I'm going to do that for this, just to give your audience a sense of what is happening on this site and in your portfolio. So again, Insert, Text Box, it'll put it right underneath it. You can paste it in, and now you have the description. If you look over on the just inside the rectangle, there's this grid of dots, and so if you wanted to rearrange the order of things, you just grab that and drag, and that's how you put things in different orders on here. All right, so now that we have the heading and the description, the next thing we want to do is add an artifact. So in order to keep things organized and help your audience know what the artifact is, you're going to give that a title as well. So I will show you how to add slides from your Drive. So again, Insert, Text Box, and this assignment was called #MyStory. And again, I'm going to make it a heading, and I'm going to change the color. So in order to add an artifact, you can, if it's from your Drive, you could click that. If it's a Google Doc or Slides, you could come down here directly and search it. So all of these places, if it's an image, or you can upload it if it's a Word document. So the My Story slide, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. And let's see. I'm going to have to search it. Okay, so here is my story. And at the bottom right here, it's cut off the screen, but there's an insert button. So you click insert. And now those slides have been added to your portfolio. What's really neat too is if you update these slides in your Drive, so let's say you did half of it and you wanted to add it to your portfolio and then you finished it, whatever you do in your Google Drive in this these Google Slides will also show up as the most current version in your portfolio. So let's take a look and see what our portfolio is looking like so far. Okay, great. So we've got the About Me section with the description. We know how to add headers, and we know how to insert an artifact from Google Drive. Okay, so remember, just to close it, we X out. And this takes us back to the editing section. So you might remember in the beginning I mentioned that you need to share these artifacts. If you're using something from your Google Drive, you want to make sure that people can see it. So let me show you how to do that. So in my portfolio, you can see that I added these Google Slides. I inserted this artifact into my portfolio. So in order to make sure that not just I can see it, but my teacher can see it, or my peers, or whoever else I would like to see it within Fairfax County Public Schools, go ahead and open the artifact in your Drive. So here are my slides. Then you go to File and click Publish to the Web. So scroll down under File, Publish to the Web. And if for this it knows that it's a slideshow, you can choose to have it start these things. You could embed it. For our sake, you can just hit Publish and click OK. And now anyone can view your slides in your portfolio. So you can just X out of that once you've done that. And when people visit, they can actually see this instead of getting a message that says there's no access or you have to request access. Similarly, for your journal, if depending on what your teacher wants or requests, you could simply share this with your teacher and not necessarily make it public. So you wouldn't publish it, but you would go into the slides. I'll show you how to do it on this one. You would go up here to the share button, and then in enter names, you would find your teacher's email address and share it so that your teacher can see the journal and you can see it, but it doesn't mean that everyone else in your class can see it. Now that you've got the basics of your Google Site portfolio set up, have fun with it. So one thing I love, coming over here to themes, you might pick something that represents you. So you just click on them, you can see what they look like. You can change the colors, you can change the font styles, and really make it your own. So have fun with that, enjoy. Make sure you do lots of great work during the school year so that you have many exemplars to include in your portfolio and lots of reflections to show your growth and progress. You'll be great.